They wrapped up a brutal 4-game stretch against top West teams with a solid 3-1 record, but couldn't shake off the shock of Steph scoring just 3 points in the last game. Golden State, hanging onto a direct playoff spot by a thread, hit the road to Phoenix looking to bounce back from that loss. With Kevin Durant basically out for the season, Phoenix's chances of making the play-in are pretty much toast. So for the Warriors, this was a must-win game. Visitors started hot with a 3 from Podziemski, who's been lights out lately. Then Jimmy Butler worked his magic drawing fouls and helped take the early lead. Phoenix answered back with a smooth layup from red-hot Devin Booker and a pull-up 3 from Bradley Beal to keep it a shootout. But as always, their biggest issue was weak defense. And Steph, who only had 3 points last game, got his first bucket tonight with a quick 3.
To create looks. Stops a 9-0 Warriors run, and Stephen Curry right back at it. There'll be no three-point game here tonight.
Steph was heating up fast. He even drained a no-look 3. No way a superstar like him has 2 bad games in a row. Phoenix, who at least had some offense going, started to fall behind even in that. Then Moses Moody stepped up with a killer block and some hustle plays. If Phoenix is losing the hustle game too, they're in real trouble. To make it worse, Coach Budenholzer wasted a challenge that didn't go their way.
Out of bounds.
There's your split action.
Steph Curry, a little push shot runner. Steph tipping in his own miss.
Listen,
Steph on the offensive glass.
Steph added a rare putback bucket to his highlights and had no problem working around Gillespie's shaky defense. You could tell Steph was dead set on bouncing back tonight.
KD, his percentages from everywhere except the 3-ball are amazing.
Steph turn, fade away.
What?
Steph Curry's 5 of 7. And
he even hit his second no-look jumper of the game. Steph dropped 13 points in the first quarter alone. When Steph sat, Podziemski picked up the slack again. He's quietly become the team's second option and helped Golden State rack up 37 points in the first quarter. That also says a lot about how bad Phoenix's defense was. The home team tried to fight back with Cody Martin's hustle and some buckets from Grayson Allen off the bench. Allen's threes, especially with his rep as a top shooter, were a potential game changer. But while Butler kept the Warriors steady by drawing more fouls, Phoenix started turning the ball over in the dumbest ways. They pretty much threw away any momentum they had. Steph then linked up with Draymond Green for a perfect cut and finish.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, good stuff there, Lauren. Curry goes up top. Jackson Davis. Short. Allen lost the handle. 6 offensive rebounds for Golden State, and once again, Curry sets up Jackson Davis.
Then he tossed 2 alley-oops to Jackson Davis, who just got back in the rotation. Those were the kind of lob dunks we rarely see from the Warriors. Steph was killing it, not just with scoring, but also with passing tonight. In the end, Booker was the only real option Phoenix could rely on. His mid-range game was still elite, no doubt, but Steph was just locked in. There was no stopping him. Besides their poor play, what really held Phoenix back was their lack of energy and fight for the ball, and their offense wasn't creative enough to make up for it. They even let Kevin Looney score way too easily in the paint. Just like that, the deficit ballooned to over 20 points. Even after a timeout, Phoenix kept turning the ball over like crazy and couldn't grab a rebound to save their life. Meanwhile, Butler, flipping into Blue Walker mode, fired up the Warriors. Golden State totally dominated on the offensive glass and set up open threes for Podziemski with smooth ball movement.
Open 3, Curry rebound in motion. Podziemski leaking out. D-cell pump fake and laid it up and in.
He got 2 guys with the D-cell.
Pods even threw in back-to-back pump fakes just to mess with them. Even though Booker already had 20 by halftime, Golden State crushed the second option battle between Podziemski and Beal and went into halftime with a comfortable lead. The Warriors kicked off the second half by winning a quick challenge, then widened the gap with Steph hitting a 3 off some beautiful ball movement. He followed that up with a smooth scoop layup.
He was in the double team at half court and he got to the corner. That is setting the example.
Moody! Right hand spike. I tell you what, he's had 3 of.
Then Moses Moody threw down a powerful in-your-face dunk, turning the Warriors into a dunk squad all of a sudden. Even in the highlight reel, they were just dominating. Meanwhile, nobody but Booker was scoring for Phoenix, and their hopeless 20% shooting from deep wasn't getting any better. Steph made a rare mistake, maybe from letting his guard down a bit with the big lead, but Phoenix couldn't even turn it into points off the turnover. Butler, who hadn't taken many shots, hit a nice turnaround jumper.
That's why the Warriors defense has been so good since the trade. Butler down the lane. Jimmy buckets with an opportunity for a three-point play.
And then got an and-one dunk off a Steph assist. That pushed the Warriors' lead to over 30 points. Sure, the Warriors started to play a little lazy too, showing signs of losing focus a bit. But honestly, it was way harder for Phoenix to stay locked in. Bradley Beal looked completely checked out at this point. Even Booker started to look gassed. Maybe the whole vibe just broke them mentally.
Jonathan Kuminga, a burst, and Allen pushes him down. It's a foul first, no shot.
Because Grayson Allen shoved Kuminga in a really dirty way. That could have ended badly if Kuminga had landed wrong. Given Allen's history, it's kind of lucky nothing broke out. Draymond Green followed that up with a super sloppy pass, but even when Booker drew a foul on Steph, Coach Kerr challenged and it got flipped to a steal. Booker looked confident and even asked for the challenge himself, but it backfired and he was left looking awkward. So even though the Warriors started playing a bit lazy, Phoenix couldn't create any momentum to come back. Their shooting was just sad, brick after brick. Meanwhile, Kuminga and Santos were playing with serious energy, the kind of spark Phoenix desperately needed but didn't have. Beal couldn't even crack double digits by the end, and Podziemski ended up with numbers close to Steph's. At that point, the game was basically over. Steph and Jimmy Butler both sat down early, chilling on the bench. Phoenix waved the white flag too, pulling Booker and Beal with a brutal schedule lately. Getting the starters some early rest was a big win for the Warriors. In the final quarter, ex-Bulls fans' fave Damian Lee checked in and knocked down a couple decent threes. But even in garbage time, Golden State still had the edge. Jackson Davis, finally getting some run, went all out.
Of the NBA when he was a young player.
He's getting buckets.
He would get buckets. TJD drops the hammer on Plumlee.
TJD is
Dropping highlight plays right to the end. Crazy how Phoenix didn't win a single quarter in the whole game. So with this win, Golden State shook off their last loss and grabbed a huge W when they really needed one. Steph made up for his rough last game by going off early and didn't even have to force anything once the game was out of reach. Phoenix, on the other hand, just looked flat the entire time, and this loss pretty much killed their play-in hopes. Honestly, this game showed exactly why their season's been such a letdown. Meanwhile, KD, who was rumored to be heading to the Warriors at the deadline, basically shut it down himself and chose to stay. Kinda makes you wonder what's going through his head now.